everybody, Robin here, and I'm back with a video for you for February here in the book garden. Yes, today I'm going to show you all the books I'm going to read in February, and I'm pretty sure I've bitten off more than I can chew because there are far too many books here and far too little month in February. So which ones are going to give, we'll have to wait and see at the end of the month. First one, I should be okay, it's only very little. It's Katherine Rundell's Why You Should Read Children's Books Even Though You Are So Old and Wise. I saw this in my local Waterstones. I've been wanting to read it for a little while. I want to extol the virtues of children's books to people, so I'm going to read this so I can get a few tips. Also, a children's book. This month I've got Sarah Haggar's Holt, The Fight That Makes Us. It's a story tied up with the history of LGBTQ plus history and the fight against Section 28. And I actually thought it was a non-fiction book to start off with, but it's not. It's fiction. It's a story, and it goes between the sort of modern day with a person who is non-binary and looking back into the history of somebody who was coming out in the 1980s. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. I think it's quite important to read a diverse range of books, especially for children's books. I'm quite looking forward to checking that out and seeing what that's all about. Next one is quite a thin little mystery book, The Shadowhall Academy, The Whispering Walls by Phil Hicks. Just want to read this for a bit of a total escapism. It's a creepy, cold school, and kind of got a sort of slight worse witch vibe. So we'll check that out. I'm looking forward to reading that one. My most anticipated children's read of February is The Black Hole Cinema Club, and this might actually sneak into March because it's not out until the 14th of March, by Christopher Edge. Christopher Edge writes slightly mind-bending, physics-exploring novels. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. As a really interesting children's author. Really makes you think about how the world works or doesn't work. So looking forward to The Black Hole Cinema Club. The elephant in the room, or the tome in the corner, is Barbara Kingsolver's Demon Copperhead. I think I bought this up in December. Still haven't read it, but it is our book club choice for next March. Or not next March. Next March might be needed, but for March. So this, I've got to read this, and I've got to get it done in February before in March. Anyway, it's going to mess everything up because it's very thick and the print is very small. I'm really looking forward to reading it, but it's going to be a mission. Now, one thing I did notice in 2024 is that Waterstones have introduced a fantasy book of the month. So what I'm going to try and do this year is read all of the fantasy books of the month each month, assuming that I like the look of them. I'm not going to read anything I don't really like the look of, but I think it'll be quite interesting experience seeing what they've chosen and what I thought of them. So the first one is Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. I don't know very much about it, actually. As a child, Kissan saw her family murdered by a god. Now gods are forbidden, but they still wander the kingdom demanding worship and sacrifice. Kissan makes a living them, killing them, and enjoys it. So I'm really looking forward to trying that out. I saw this as one of my possible books I wanted to buy because I just love the cover. No, you shouldn't judge a book by the cover, but the cover is gorgeous. So I'm really looking forward to trying that out. So that is Hannah Kaner, and it's published by Harper Voyager. Next up is a sequel of sorts to a book I read last year called The Forcing. This is called The Descent, and it's by Paul E. Hardisty, published by the wonderful Arenda Books. They publish some great books. Do check them out if you haven't before. This one The Forcing is a climate disaster novel. This one is set quite some time after that. It's presumably going to feature more climate change shenanigans and probably disaster, and hopefully offer us some hope at the end. So quite looking forward to reading The Descent, although the Forcing was not the easier. That was a really great book, not the easiest to read. Anything that's talking about the impending doom of the universe or the world, the earth, is never the easiest to read. But Paul Hardisty really pulled me in The Forcing, and I'm hoping it's going to happen with The Descent as well. Next up is The Bezzel by Cory Doctorow, and this is probably the book most likely to slip into March of all of these. It sees the return of Martin Hench, who is in Red Team Blues. He's a forensic accountant, and this is all about, I think, the 2000 crash and lots of people making money that they probably shouldn't do, embezzling it. I assume that's why it's called The Bezzel. I have gone off a little bit of Cory Doctorow's books in the last 12 to 18 months. So I'm sort of hoping this one is a return to form, but I would say it isn't top of my February list, but it is out in February, which is why I want to try and get to it. I have to see how we go. That is published by Head of Zeus. And they also publish The Dragons of Deepwood Fen, which is another massive fantasy tome, but it's got dragons in it, so I really want to read this. Dragons, unique magic systems, political intrigue. If you enjoy a lively mix of those ingredients, this book is for you, says Robin Hobb. So she presumably knows what she's talking about. It's The Dragons of Deepwood Fen, big, thick fantasy tome. So I've got a couple of fantasy books on there to read this month. So I've got my work cut out for me. I think I'm actually going to have to set myself a little timetable to get through Barbara Kingsolver as well as some of these other books as we go through February. Do let me know if you've read any of these or if you're going to read any soon and what you thought of them. Do let me know if you think I've got absolutely no chance of getting through all those books in February. I don't think I have. But we'll see you soon for no doubt a video about how I got on with these books in February and how many I failed to read. And then in March, probably another big pile of books that's way, way too big for the number of days in the month. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon somewhere in the book garden. Bye for now.